math, we are going to work on story problems. So I want you to go ahead and put on your detective hat because when we solve story problems, you get to be a detective in figuring out the answer, okay? So I'm going to be working on two problems from our packet. So if you need to pause the video and get your packet, that's fine. And your beginning, middle, end chart from our first packet. And we're going to look at numbers 1 and number 3, okay? And you'll also need a pencil so you can follow along with me. All right, so looking at number 1, it says Stella had 12 cookies. She ate some cookies, and now she has 8. How many cookies did she eat? Well, now that I've read it once, I always need to reread it, okay? So I want you to reread it with me. Stella had 12 cookies. She ate some cookies, and now she has 8. How many cookies did she eat? My first thing I need to do is underline the question. I need to know what they're asking me. My question says, how many cookies did she eat? And I want you to underline that on your paper also. So we want to know how many cookies she ate. So in the beginning, it said Stella had 12 cookies. I'm going to circle my information, which is 12, and I'm going to put a box for my label. The label is what we're talking about. We're talking about cookies. So she had 12 cookies, and she ate some cookies. There's the word cookies again, but I don't know how many she ate. It says some, so I'm going to put a question mark right there. And now she has 8. I'm going to circle the 8. And we know, it doesn't say cookies, but we know that they're talking about cookies. So, and now she has 8. How many cookies did she eat? Look, friends, all of my labels are the same. I have cookies and cookies, and I'm looking for cookies. Remember, when the labels are the same, you're either going to add or subtract, okay? So let's figure out what we need to do for this problem by using our beginning, middle, and end map. In the beginning, Stella had 12 cookies. She ate some, but we don't know how many. And now she has 8 cookies left. Now let's think about it. If she's eating some cookies, that means that we're taking cookies away. So that tells me that I need to subtract. I also know that I need to subtract because my big number, or like we call him Big Daddy, is at the beginning of the problem. So I know that I need to take away so that my number can get smaller. So let's figure out 12 minus what equals 8. There's a lot of different ways to solve this, and I'm simply going to count backwards, okay? And you can solve this in a different way. You can do 12 minus 8, and that would actually give you this answer, kind of like in our fact families when we flip-flop those around. So I'm going to count back to 8. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. How many tally marks do I have there? 4. Very good. So 12 minus 4 equals 8. So Stella must have ate 4 cookies. And I always want to put my label in there so I remember what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on to our next problem, which is going to be number 3. We're skipping number 2 and going to number 3. You can come back to do number 2. Number 3 says Brian did 8 push-ups. His goal was to do 14 push-ups. How many more push-ups does Brian need to do to reach his goal? All right, now that I've read it, I want to reread it. Brian did 8 push-ups. His goal was to do 14 push-ups. How many more push-ups does Brian need to do to reach his goal? All right, it's time for us to underline our question. Our question is, how many more push-ups does Brian need to do to reach his goal? Now I need to circle my information and put a box around my labels. Brian did 8 push-ups. So yeah, we're talking about push-ups. His goal was to do 14 push-ups. How many more push-ups does Brian need to do to reach his goal? So I have push-ups, and I'm looking for push-ups. That means I'm going to either add or subtract. So let's figure it out. So I know that Brian did 8 push-ups. Now let's let's think about this. If his goal was to do 14 push-ups, then that means that he wants to do a total of 14. So that 14 actually needs to go at the very end, okay? That means that we're not sure what this middle number is. But I can see that my number at the end is the big number, Big Daddy. So 8 plus a number would have to be 14 because it's getting bigger towards the end. All right, so let's solve this. 8 plus what equals 14? There's several different ways you can do this. You can take 14 and subtract 8 from it, or you can start at 8 and count up to 14 to get your answer, which is what I'm going to do. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So how many tally marks do I have in that blank? 6. So if Brian did 6 more push-ups, then he would have 14 because 8 plus 6 equals 14. So I'm going to write my answer as 6 push-ups. Alrighty guys, I am so proud of you. You guys have worked so hard. This week I want you to choose 3 of these word problems to work on a day. And remember that you're going to have to be a detective to figure these out, okay? If you are having any problems with them, please reach out and let us know because your teachers would love to help you. I hope everyone has a great week. Bye.